Hello. Probably look a lot more rested than last week, which was like 3 days ago when I uploaded. Listen, Bali, I'm excited to be living here, but y'all, the bugs, okay? Like in every villa, because we're still searching for our villa, which I'll talk about that in a second, building versus buying. Every villa has its own like pocket of like nature. The compromise is like y'all see that's the backyard. I love this build. It's very cozy. And I love the designer villas that are um becoming more popular. Like the decor is very just elevated, chic, cozy. Um, yeah, and it's just like you think about like this style in the US would go for 10 grand a month. Like, let's not even talk, like that's rent. Let's not talk about buying a home like this, like millions. So, anyways, insects. Every villa has its pocket of insects. Like you're either going to get the drain flies, which are a very interesting strain of flies that come up the drain, I think. And it sounds gross, but it is what it is. Listen, you gonna get the paradise with the pests. Um, I know there's like rumors of snakes. I've never seen a snake. I'm trying to think. Maybe like 7 years ago, we were in like a jungle or something, but it was very rare. Snakes are not common, but geckos are super common. The occasional frog, if you are especially near a rice paddy. But for me, it's more of like just the little mosquitoes and the drain flies that I'm like, how do they multiply so quickly? That's what people are saying. So you have to really take them all out. You can't just kill a couple. You got to kill them all because they will multiply. And even the house manager was like, it's marriage season. He was joking, but like you could, he was just saying like they be humping and they be getting it in. So they can't always be controlled. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the search for Bali homes. Now that we are officially moving our life here, which still doesn't feel real. Like I feel like this has been in the works for so many years. It feels surreal that it's happening. And last time I tried to move here and I was like searching for like land and meeting with property managers. Um, I was by myself and I had a friend who I was like asking because he was a guy and I was like, hey, can you come with me to these meetings and just like be a guy? Like just I just need them to not try to take advantage of me because I did have a lot of like just deep insecurity about not asking the right questions because I've never owned a home, I've never purchased property. Um, my real estate investment portfolio is limited to multifamily units in a joint fund, investment fund in the US. So I just don't know the questions to ask, and I didn't trust myself to sniff out the BS. So I asked my friend to come along, ask the questions, and I was so grateful. But even then, I was just like, and they gave me the notes. They're like, okay, so if they ask this, you got to make sure that. And there was just so many things that I was like, wait, I don't want to get taken advantage of. This doesn't feel fun anymore. And the reality is, it's not fun when money is involved because no one wants to lose money. No one wants to make the wrong decision. And if you follow, his name is Christian, his YouTube channel is Lost LeBlanc. He has literally documented the entire process. And I'm so grateful because he has shared the six-figure loss that he has lost, basically, from being, I don't want to use the word scammed because it's not, well, maybe. I mean, I love this island, so I'm gracious around just the black market and how things work. But yeah, like people charging double for something, paying for a service, and it not actually happening. Like there's those horror stories, and then there were enough of them that I heard to kind of talk me out of it. And again, I was single, so I still um yeah, like I wanted to be open to the idea of like, okay, I might be living like with my husband somewhere else, like in his country. I was already sold on like leaving the US. I was like, okay, to not live there for the rest of my life. The only reason we were looking for a base there is we thought we would be hopping around a lot more, but now that that's out the picture, it just makes so much more sense. And I don't know what I was afraid of. I think there was a level of safety and comfort that I built in my apartment in the US. I think I was trying to manufacture that in another US city because I didn't actually like the city that I was in. It just happened to be there. So I don't know. I hope I'm making sense. So this time around, yeah, just really taking our time and just knowing that until we find our home, like we can still rent monthly and we can still try out different neighborhoods, which is really nice. And the place that we were going to live in the US, we literally stayed for one night and we were about to sign a 14-month lease. Like to think like we were about to make such a big commitment based off a one night stay and like a one time visit. But here we can literally be like, let's check out this place for 2 months before we commit. And with Bali, because I've come here enough times and we've explored enough neighborhoods to know the areas that we like, the areas that we enjoy, the restaurants that are just, yeah, just really good. Yeah, so it's just we have our lists. And ironically, it's so different from the US. In the US, things were like, has to be sunny in this city, has to be near a international airport, like an NBA basketball team has to exist, like really superficial, basic needs. I don't know. It's just kind of crazy to think about like how different our criteria is. Like here, it's like walking distance to the beach, like walking distance to a gym, walking distance to a market. Like, yeah, it's our criteria is based around our lifestyle and not so much our luxuries. That's crazy. In the US, it was based on luxuries, and here it's based on lifestyle. That's a bar, but also like, yeah, oof, I need a sips tea on that note. Mm. Okay, so building versus buying. Let's talk about that for a second because many of the horror stories did come from people who built and they wanted to like really specifically design their home in a certain way. And I'll be honest, I'm actually that doesn't feel fun for me. And I don't think we're at a place where we're super attached to how a home is built. Because I think our lifestyle is so fluid. We're open to the idea that yeah, we might live here for 10 years and then choose another country or island. And, I've always said this, but like we're also on the hunt for the next Bali. Like Bali is our place for now, but there's another Bali that's existing somewhere and we're open and looking for where that is. Um, God willing, we're still here in 10 years to just keep exploring the world, one island at a time. So yeah, I think building, I see people are really attached to the process of like choosing marble versus wood and um yeah, open concept. And I rather someone who is like really detailed and researched on that. They make the decisions and I just say, yeah, that makes sense. I like it. And interior design, like I designed my apartment in the US in 3 weeks, bought everything, built everything, styled everything, and just had it up because it was my first place and I just wanted to feel like it was functional as soon as possible. And yeah, it made sense. How I designed it made sense. It literally was designed to feel like Bali. So to be in Bali now and I can be like, oh, I can just choose which Bali design I like. So for example, it's just really cozy. I don't know if I can, yeah, maybe I'll just show you a little bit of, see that? So this is, it doesn't even feel like it, but this is a 3-story, sorry for the randomness. This is a 3-story spot. And it's like, yeah, it's just really, 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 really impressive. Um, yeah, 3-story. Yeah. One, two, mm, mm. Wait a minute. One, two, it's 4 stories. Wow. It's 4 stories. One, two, three, four stories with a balcony, a terrace, a rooftop, gorgeous view. Feels very local in one of our favorite neighborhoods. It just, yeah, it's just really nice. Mm, NT ways. Yeah, so I guess I'll just like continue sharing the process and um as I like just continue to watch these in the future, I'm just like, really excited to see like where future us chooses. Like, yeah. Just yeah. I don't know. It's really, really cool. And I think another reason we're choosing to buy versus build is if you're building, you have to probably be here the entire building process in order to be in order to avoid some of the issues and the discrepancies that happen when you leave. And not that you have to micromanage, but just being able to drive by once a week at least keeps the team accountable. Um, the management is more on top of things, and you're able to just course correct in real time versus them wait 6 months for you to, come back next. Um, okay, yeah, I just finished up another mastermind and VIP weekend, and I keep telling myself, I'm like, if all of my work was like in person, I would be the happiest woman in the world. I really feel this shift happening where this virtual stuff, super convenient. Zoom, we love her. We thank her. She did a great job holding us down, especially during the pandemic. But I think I'm ready to not be fully off Zoom because Zoom is still, there's a lot of like my private clients, they still, I think, really need those touch points and appreciate the one-to-one. Um, yeah, so let me actually send myself a note. Sorry, y'all. Please hold. Please hold. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Oh wow. Okay, okay. I literally forgot y'all were here. Sorry. It's a um I think I'm still delirious. I had an amazing 3 hour massage. I don't even know if that's legal. If your body should be put through put through. I guess I say that because it's not the relaxing massages. This one is almost like physical therapy massage. And I have someone here, a therapist here, who like she's literally been healing my groin and knee injury. We sometimes look at like the Western world and like we think that, oh, I don't know, first world countries have the best I don't know, surgical practices, but like not even Eastern medicine, but just Eastern practices. There's so much natural, holistic ways that you can heal yourself that are non-invasive and that allow you to protect the integrity of uh your body. Like, yeah, so it's just crazy that this 10 to 12-year growing injury that I've had and just kind of chalked it up to life. Like, okay, well, this is just the pain that I'm going to have for the rest of my life. And this knee pain, I'm just going to, maybe one day I'll get knee replacement. But I just kind of said, this is the pain that I just have to suck up and deal with. And to see how she's slowly but surely healing the pain through just a very specific like oil and then stretches and oof, it's a process. It is a process and it is crazy. It is, yeah, I'm just humbled by how much I'm being healed in real time. Maybe I should do these in the morning. But no, y'all should get a different type of energy. Mm. because as you can see, I'm trying to fit these videos in where I can. They're no longer um, being prioritized, unfortunately, because life has been just a little cray cray in a good way. But yeah, I think where I was going with that is just I just feel really aligned in my work. I feel really aligned with my clients this year. Um, I just feel really clear about what I'm here to do and who I'm here to serve. And it makes me more excited to create more content that speaks to that. I think it's easy for you to feel a little bit random with your social media strategy if you don't know who you want to talk to. And I go in and out of seasons of talking to different people and helping them with different problems. But now I think I feel really clear about like helping people get in alignment with their assignment and just like coaching them through the process of change and going after that goal, that thing that yeah, it just feels really good. And I'm recognizing as well that like this 40 to 50 demographic is really like resonating with how I coach. And so it's interesting because I'm 34 and it's not that I specifically speak to people in their 30s, but I just always thought that those would be my largest demographic of clients. And I would say 45 is probably the average age of who I serve and who I work with. So yeah, it's just kind of interesting to just even look at the stats and take notice of patterns. So how I'm living or how I'm speaking, how I'm posting is resonating with that demographic. So just doing more research on how I can be better. Yeah, as I mentioned, Love Leap is launched and we are sending out the official invitations for those who marked that they were interested in our Valentine's Day special, which is really cool. I think spending Valentine's Day with couples is like I think initially you could be like, wait, what? That's like, it's more romantic to be by yourself. But again, like it's such a vulnerable thing to bring couples together to help them work on their relationship. That was the drain fly. Oh, there it is. It's on the screen. For a second, I was like, oh, it just like stuck to the screen and I'm pretty sure it like took a sip of my tea and then bounced. But mm, it is what it is. Okay, what was he saying? What was he saying? My gosh. Do y'all want to know what time it is? It's 11:30 at night. So I'm in between client calls and okay. Mm, mm, Costa Rica. And the funny thing is, in between these calls, because I'm so sharp and I'm so focused, and then once the time is up, I'm like, oh. And then I revert to like nonsense brain. And then I get back on. I'm like, okay, let's go. Okay. Um, yeah, Costa Rica, being with couples, yeah, and just creating a safe space for them to like really talk about like what they're struggling with. And Stefan and I as well. Like we're very vulnerable with our relationship with friends and people that we meet in person, because I think that's where true healing and counseling lies. And there is no book or therapy that replaces genuine, honest, open conversation. And we just want to facilitate more of that. So obviously the hard part now is making sure that people are aligned. The type of couples that we bring together. That's why we're starting really small. It's just going to be six, uh, two couples, three each with Stefan and I. So yeah, it's six people total. That feels very manageable. They say two's company, three's a crowd. Yeah, but I think it's perfect. Or a group of six because then I get to just like speak to the wives. Like, because women usually or they're the organizers, they're on top of it, they are the planners and yeah, so I feel like it's really just going to be me and two women, and then Stefan speaks to the two guys. So I get to like, yeah, um, yeah, I get to know the relationships of two other people. And again, it's such a gift to have spaces where you can genuinely discuss um things in your relationship that out of context on Instagram would be judged or hyper criticized. So yeah, just excited. Okay. Um, the two ways that you can currently work with me on your business is Nishless Ninjas, that that mastermind application is launched for 2025, and the Bali Business Bootcamp that is also launched for 2025. There will be four boot camps next year. The group boot camps are 5 people total, and then the one-on-one VIP boot camps are just one person. And that one is, I usually do them, I have like in the spring and in the fall, or I've done a few where I fly to you. So if you live in New York, LA, I don't know, Germany, you can just say where you want me to come to you or where you want me to come to. We could also meet in a mutual country. I've done that a couple times, like in London. So, or mutual city. So yeah, those are up. I'll put those applications in the description. And yeah, just balance in crazy seasons like this. This is definitely my high season. This is my busy season. And I love it. There's a little bit of chaos, a little bit of woof, but it's like if there's too much, uh, if there's too, if it's too relaxed all year round, I get bored. And I remember May through, yeah, like August was really, it was boring, but it was really like stable, really healthy. I was eating literally the same thing every single day. I was sleeping 9 to 10 hours a night. I was, it's, it's embarrassing, but it's also like, well, grow up. These are little drain flies that won't hurt a single thing. But I think it's more of the tickling sensation. It's the tick, tick, tick. It's it's the feeling like someone and something can control your senses or has access to. I don't even want to think about it. Okay, let me wrap this up because I've been rambling incoherently for too long. Okay. Um, balance in the crazy seasons. Yeah, I feel like this is my rock star era. Um, when musicians and artists are touring, it is crazy, but there is something about that craze that lights them up and reminds them why they love what they do. So, excuse me. And I just think about the anxiety I get and got from being in the US, from living in the US. It's just nice to be out of that. And I don't want to feel like, yeah, like I'm doing things wrong just because I chose different, and allowing myself to keep carving out a path that makes sense for me and not looking to other people for the answers. Because everyone, your answers are inside of you. You know what you should do, you know what you want. And we keep looking around waiting on permission, but that permission slip is only going to be from inside. It's an internal voice that's going to tell you, yes, this is the way. And that's also God, the whispers are God. So yeah, I think there's also a level of anxiety from trying to stay both informed but also at peace. Informed with like what's going on, Hurricane Helene, like just my goodness, checking in on friends, making sure everyone's okay, trying to remember all the people I know that live in Florida and what's happening in Lebanon and just the madness of, my goodness. I'm just thinking like first Palestine and now Lebanon. And I'm just like, like what is the wake up call? How did we get here? And it's scary when one country continues to break rules, literally break every humanitarian rule, and just no one is checking them. It's scary, it's sad, it's unfortunate, and I'm just, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So yeah, staying informed on all of this, but also like making sure I'm, yeah, just checking for my mental health because I know how I can get. As an empath, I can deeply spiral and just get super passionate about speaking up for Lebanese people, which should be a given. Like everyone should be advocating for people who are being harmed for no reason. Like this is a humanitarian crisis. This isn't about politics or nationality. Like it's just really sad. So yeah, trying to do my best to like figure out what that balance looks like. My little sister is 29. She just turned 29 earlier this week. And to think that she's so close to 30, I'm trying to remind myself that like life, it really, it's humbling how quickly you think third, like I thought 30 feels like, I don't know, because the pandemic was both last year and 4 years ago, my 30th birthday was very underwhelming because everything was shut down. So I remember I got a bunch of balloons and like just um, excuse me, party decorations and I threw myself a party. I got cake and I just did like this little like photo shoot in my creative suite. And what else did I do? Yeah, I just did created some fun videos, but nothing, yeah, nothing crazy. But I did, it was really nice. I did have a friend, she got a bunch of people on Zoom to sing happy birthday for me. It's funny, it was super awkward because she told certain people to attend who like I wasn't really friends with. I was like, wait, what? So that was kind of weird. But it was all under good intent. Which speaking of, I think the friendship fallouts, like the post season of a friendship fallout is so awkward because when you and someone else decide to not be friends, no one really did anything. It's just you might need to just acknowledge like, hey, this isn't really working, or we tried, or you meet online on social media and maybe you just keep crossing paths or um one person's life goes in a completely different direction and just naturally you drift apart. But there's nothing like, no one did anything negative, but you know that like there's not a friendship there because neither party is choosing to nurture or nourish it. And then like you might still every now and then see that they'll like comment on your posts and it's kind of weird because you're like, oh, because the words don't feel like almost the words almost feel not sarcastic, but they don't feel genuine because like they might have said some things. Um, I don't know. I'm just like always trying to figure out how to navigate the friendship fallout post-season awkwardness because yeah, like I'm very as a friend, I'm like an all-inclusive friend, meaning like there is no limits to how I can show up for you. What you need, I'm there. What you say, let's go. Like, and I think the type of friend I am is this is not to toot my own horn, but it's rare. And because it's rare, I think people don't know how to appreciate that level of support, but also uh match or reciprocate it. And it's not that I'm looking for people to match that because it's not realistic to be an all-inclusive friend for everyone. That's why I'm super selective for who I give that friendship to. But in any given season, there's probably like 3 to 5 that like they know they've got close all-inclusive friendship. And yeah, someone can work their way to that, and then we can recognize like, actually, this isn't they. It's not even. Yeah, maybe we'll have to make this a whole another video, another time to really discuss this in detail and give this more, give this the space it deserves to really flesh out the thoughts. But here's, I think, the problem with me. I grow, evolve, pivot, change, and innovate at such a rapid rate I think it makes it hard for some friends to figure out how to stay in my life because like when you're growing so much or you're like changing so much or yeah, you're this moving train and some people are like, ah, I want to stay at this stop. So, all right, Chloe, it's been cool. And I think it can also be deeply triggering if someone sees you accomplishing your dreams and going after what you want, and they haven't found a way to do that in their lives, you might get some passive aggressive comments. I think that's probably the biggest thing that I've noticed is I was on the receiving end of a lot of passive aggressive comments. And I was just like, what is this pattern? Like, am I too sensitive? Because why is it that I would like root so hard for people and I will give them all the tools and the resources and all the help that I have access to. And I'm just like, I want to see everyone win. Like I have no, um, yeah, there's no shortage of my support. Like if you're a friend, I want to see you win, period. It's like that's just always been how it is. But I mean, since elementary school, I can just remember that feeling of like, especially women that were older than me, just like belittling me or bullying me or looking down on me for my ambition. And I think over the years, what that's turned into or manifested into is like me quieting my ambition or not feeling safe to share my dreams or dumbing myself down to fit in with like what everyone else wanted in life or not sharing what I wanted in life at all and naturally just isolating myself because I trusted only me and I didn't want to continue to go through this cycle of like, yeah, women feeling comfortable telling me that like, oh, you're doing too much. So I don't know. I say all that to say that it doesn't change. High school behavior doesn't doesn't end after high school. And I think now I'm just allowing myself to be like, oh, okay, when someone shows you who they are, like you don't have to like pretend you don't see it. Be like, oh, okay, good information. Like it's just recognize what it is and like move on. Because the more you try to stay and be like, oh, well, they had a bad day. Oh, well, they could change. Oh, maybe I could have done. Nope. You do not get to rationalize other people's poor behavior. Like you deserve better. And I think it's that lack of worthiness that I used to feel like, oh, maybe I don't deserve a friend showing up for me the way I showed up for them. Absolutely, I do. And now that I have friends that show up for me in the same way I show up for them, I'm like, how did I ever think I didn't deserve this? It's crazy what life does to you. It's humbling, but it's a reminder that your people exist both romantically and platonically, and do not give up searching until you find your match in both ways. So, yeah, a little bit of a tangent, huh? Okay, what's ahead this week? Um, yeah, a couple friends visiting the island, which is pretty cool because I mean, I have a feeling that's going to be my future. Is like a lot of people now realize that they want to hang out with me, they got to come to Bali to do it. So that's cool. We came back from a beautiful cabin trip. We had a little double date over the weekend, and yeah, it was just really fun. But yeah, this week is all about rest, recuperation, healing, massages, celebration, deep work, reading, and just cozying up on these little couches here. So thanks for watching. This was a longer video than usual, but I feel like it's nice to finally get to, yeah, do this video without feeling like I'm rushing through it. And even though the fly had tea with me, I hope that there was a message. I hope there was a message in here for you. Uh, as delirious as this video was, I know that there's something in here that you were meant to hear and that it's going to influence change or, oh my God, is that a booger? Okay, okay. Shadow. It's going to influence change or inspire your behavior moving forward. So with that said, see you next week and bye.